Hello, at 5:30 in the morning. We are here at the Elk Lake Trailhead, and we're going to try as much of the Dix Range as we can today. It's a pretty, well, shouldn't say pretty, it's a very intense hike. If you do the whole thing, some reports say 15 miles, some say 16, another says 20. I plan on doing it the counterclockwise fashion, so going up the Macomb slide first, then hitting South Dix, then Grace, formerly known as East Dix, and then we'll see how we feel about doing Hough. I can never pronounce that. So we're just gonna call it that. And whether we take the Lillian Brook trail down or if we proceed on to Dix, we'll find out. The proceeding on to Dix is a really big undertaking. You're supposed to go over like 2 humps, and then you get up to Dix, and then when you go down Dix, it's about 2,500 feet and 2 miles on the Beckhorn Trail. So it's really intense. So we'll see. But I got no shame if I need to not do the entire thing today. So we'll see. Okay, so I don't actually know where the official beginning of Macomb slide is. We've been on the herd path up Macomb for a little bit now, and it starts pretty gradually, but we're really starting to gain some elevation here, which is kind of a double-edged sword, in that obviously it's pretty taxing doing so on your body, especially on these really long hikes. But what I'm relieved about is that it's cooler as you go up. The humidity this morning is just absolutely atrocious, honestly. I don't really know how people in the south or anywhere in tropical climates or anything like that hike, because it was in the 60s this morning with a dew point in the 60s, and I'm sweating bullets. I mean, my glasses are fogged up, my back is just water, my chest is everything's just water. I'm literally just a bundle of sweat right now. But I'm starting to not sweat so profusely now that we're starting to gain some elevation. Again, if I can get the whole range today, that'd be great, but I'm not holding myself to that. I don't want to really pressure myself on a hike like this, especially since I'm solo. I just really want to take it one peak at a time. We have a bailout if we need it, and I'm going to treat it as I'm doing the 3, and if I can get the 5, that's even better. If not, I can always come back. I only live like an hour away. So that's the plan today. All right, here it is, the infamous Macomb slide. I also misspoke earlier when I was saying the 3. It would be the 4, because Hough, I know I should be able to pronounce it, I don't know, I just can't, is like right at the summit of Lillian Brook Trail. So anyways, here it is, and this is definitely, I can totally 120% see why every thing that I've listened to and read recommends going up this instead of down it. Some people go down it, but it definitely looks safer going up. So here we go. Man, I feel like I'm in a jewel pod filled middle school locker room, man. There is just, fog everywhere, and it's looking like it's all just vape smoke. Anyways, thankfully we didn't really have to put much contact on that bedrock down there that you cannot see through the fog. It has water flowing down it, and it just really did not look or feel safe. So I just looked around a little bit, saw Karen for an area around it, and happily took that. So we got about 700 feet or so to climb. I'm just taking my time. I don't want to stress my legs all that much because I got a long day and it's not a race. That's why we start early. Well, that and to get parking spots, but yeah. All right, I want to say that is the slide completed. Now it's not too much further to the summit, at least from what I've read. Definitely a little spooky, but fun. Would not want to attempt it in shoulder season at all. But I'm very glad that it went up. I would really be scared going down. All right, so we weren't out of the woods yet. Ended up not recording it, but came across some fellow hikers that have been very helpful in getting up. So we're kind of sticking together to get to the summit. There was a really steep area where you had to grab some roots and stuff, so, but we're up. All right, coming up on it. 28 of 46. Whew. All right, we're on the descent right now from Macomb, going to South Dix. Making decent pace. It's not too bad going down so far. Nothing really too sharp or scary, just typical uneven footing in water, but nothing horrible. All right, coming up South Dix, there's the coal. Fog is finally starting to lift. It's about 9:20 now. So really neat coming up this all exposed rock, but not at the level where it's really slick or anything. Although this would be sketchy in shoulder season. Fog's starting to lift out. Starting to get a pretty view. Okay. Excuse my trekking poles by the tree. I forgot to film approaching it. But South Dix, 29 of 46. Standing at about 4,020 something feet, I believe. It's a wooded summit, but allegedly there's an overlook over there. So let's go take a look. Well, not allegedly, there definitely is. They wouldn't lie about a lookout. The fog has started to clear a little bit. Right, we are between Grace, which we're headed to now, and South Dix. Not too bad. Muddy, as to be expected. It's the Adirondacks, and we've got a bajillion gallons of water this year. But overall, terrain's not too bad, which is good because we're gonna have to go back up this. All right, making our way up Grace now. Not too bad so far. Again, just typical mud, but none of it's been really terrible. A couple slabs here and there that we descended down, but again, nothing really bad. Now we're at the actual summit ascent. So a bit more intense than we were on earlier, but again, hasn't been too terrible so far. And definitely way less scary than Macomb slide. All right, I believe we are approaching the summit of number 30. Grace, formerly known as East Dix. It was renamed Grace in 2014 after Grace Huladowski, first woman 46er and the 9th 46er in 1937. All right, currently, I believe we're coming up the side of Ho or Huff, or however you say it, H-O-U-G-H. Starting to huff pretty hard. Da-dun-ching. But yeah, we're, still going for it. Went through what I called a tack forest. It's one of those parts that it's just incredibly narrow, and everything's a pine tree, and then there's a bunch of sharp rocks, and those are the kinds of herd paths I'm not as into. So even though we're going uphill now, I'm savoring a little bit of shoulder room now, thankfully.
No, that's South Dix.
I was mistaken earlier. We were just going up some little mound thing, and then sharp descent down a few slabs. Now we're actually going up Ho or Huff, or however you pronounce it.
This is pretty.
All right, approaching the summit of number 31. Standing at about 4,400 feet. There it is. All right, on the ascent with Dix, that gorgeous shot that I got earlier was really, really cool. A lot of the views have been hindered by fog. This is one of the most scenic Adirondack ranges, and unfortunately, just really haven't been able to see all that much, but the occasional times when the fog lifts, it is glorious. And it is pretty cool seeing it come in and out. So you go over a couple humps here. It's a big commitment, but, oh, oops, we're good. It's a big commitment, but we got it, hopefully. Just as I turn the GoPro on, oh, you can even see the pond that you drive through on the way, or by, on the way in. I got confused on the parking on my way in at first because it was pitch black and I'd never driven up the road before. And so I went into this parking lot and I'm like, oh, sick, there's nobody here. And then like I took my phone and I was like, oh. Yeah, there's 2 overflow lots. Approaching what I believe is the summit of Dix, and a lot of slabs, but nothing like Macomb Slide or what awaits me going down. So getting after it. I mean, you know, I'm feeling a lot better than I thought I was going to be. So we'll be at 32. All right, this is cool. We just traversed over Beckhorn. It's a little bit of a open ridge sort of hike. The only downside to that is there's some rain bearing down on us. So I'm gonna try and get to the summit of Dix, hopefully rest a couple minutes, and then start trying to make that descent down the Beckhorn Trail. Heavier rain, that's gonna really not be fun. Hopefully we can get down quick enough to get under a tree to shelter or something like that. Unfortunately, I'm sure this is gorgeous if you could actually see anything. All right, we have made it 32 of 46 Dix with a view of fog. All right, so if you can hear me over the wind, there's the little, oh, I'm standing on it, there it is. There's a little marker for the summit here. So 3246 Dix, and from here it's going to be the Beckhorn Trail down. It's a really steep trail. It's about 2,500 feet of elevation down in like 2 miles or something silly like that. We got some rain bearing down on us, unfortunately. So, you know, I'm probably just going to put the camera away and all that sort of stuff and just make sure I keep it dry, which it's a GoPro, so it should be fine, but I don't want to take any chances. So sorry there wasn't much in the way of views. I kind of forgot to look at fog, but I wanted to get the mountains done anyways. I've been really itching to scratch off 5 peaks, especially with how crappy the weather's been this summer. So appreciate y'all coming along, and see you in the next one.
Our truck and pulse fell. He needs help. He needs to help us. The firefighter.
So I wanted to give you guys one last shot because things actually cleared out a little bit. That's what we went over. And we are going down the death trap that is Beckhorn. Well, hopefully it's not a death trap. I hear it's really steep at the beginning, but then it gets better.